are live. Hello, everyone. All right, so today in this version of the Boss Teacher Live, we're going to be talking about the lessons, all of the lessons, not all, some of the lessons, the best top lessons that I've learned in 2020 that has helped me to grow my brand, to grow my business, to help me to bring the Boss Teacher brand to profitability. Some of the shifts that I have had to make in order to ensure that I'm building an empire, I'm building a legacy. So I'm going to be sharing those with you. If you have not seen our last live, this is part 2. So part 1, I share with you 4 of my lessons that I've learned from this year. And those lessons are lessons that I'm taking into the new year. I'm going to continue to implement those in my business and in my life and how I conduct myself in general. So part 1 is immediately before this video. So if you're watching the replay, just go to the next video. It doesn't matter which order you watch them in, by the way. You can either watch this one first, the next one first. It really doesn't matter. What I want you to take from this are the lessons and see how you can apply these lessons in your own life, see how you can implement them in your own business, and just see what works for you. Because that's the thing. You're going to take advice from other people, your coaches, your mentors, people who are doing the things that you want to do. Take advice from them and just act, implement, put things into practice and see if it works for you. If it works, amazing. Keep doing it. If it doesn't work, you can do one of 2 things. One, you can decide that you're going to do it again and see if it will work the second or the third time around. And if you've been doing it for a while and it's not working, then you are going to quit implementing that strategy and try something else. So I'm going to keep this session short. We usually go for 30 to 45 minutes. I'm going to try and keep this session short, but also letting you know that this is my final live for 2020. We're going to take a break for the holidays because I'm going to be working on some stuff to bring more content to you with regards to building out your online courses for the new year. So I'm going to take the next few weeks to really work on planning those out, creating those emails for you, creating content that is going to help you to help you. Did I say help you already? I did. That's going to help you to start earning from your online course. So that's what the next 3 weeks is about for me. So today is my last live for this year, and I'm just going to be continuing from the lessons that I was sharing with you last time. So let me do a quick recap before I jump right into those. So last time I was sharing with you about the different lessons that I've learned in 2020, and I shared 4 in particular. So the first one was to have a plan B. The second one was upgrading your circle, like who are the people that you are hanging out with? What are their mindsets like? Do they have the same thinking as you? Those kind of people are going to encourage you and are going to boost your income like you never knew you could possibly be earning. The other thing I talked about is the mindset shift that I had around money. And as a Christian, there are certain things that I were taught as a young lady that were not biblical. And so as I grew up and I started to read the Bible on my own, I had to do a complete mindset shift around the way I view wealth as a Christian individual. And I shared that with you. And then the final thing I shared with you in our last session was around how planning completely transformed the way I do business over the past year and a half, almost 2 years, right? So for this session, I'm going to be sharing with you 4 more tips. And I'm going to be giving you the background story behind each of them, how I was able to come to this place. And then hopefully you can take some tidbits of how you can implement each of these in your life and your business as well. So here's the first one. And this came out of me just finding that I was doing a lot in my business and I needed help. So this is the story behind me. I don't like to ask for help. And that's just something I noticed about myself. And when I realized that this was an issue for me, I started to think back to where in the world did this come from, right? So I don't like to ask for help. I'm very independent. I'd rather do things and do it well, do it at the highest level, do it at the most excellent standard possible, and just get it done out of the way. Now, I find it difficult to go to somebody and say, do this for me, when I know I can do it myself. And then I'm going to have to check back on them to see whether or not they did it or did it correctly or did it the way I want it to be done. And so it's easier for me to do it myself rather than spending twice the time to guide this person on how to get it done. Hi, Donna. Thanks for showing up in the comments, Donna. Welcome. So that was a big issue for me because I was finding that there are so many things in my business that I wanted to get done, but because of time, I literally couldn't do it. But I was finding it hard to ask for help because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking that I'm the best person to get this thing done. I know how to do it. I know how to do it well. So I'm going to find the time at some point in the future to get it done. But then I found that things were backing up on me and I wasn't being as productive as I could. And as I thought about it, I realized that my mother is the problem. What I mean is that I grew up partly in a single parent home, and that whole partly in a single parent home is a whole nother story. But I grew up in a partly single parent home. And so I was with my mother a lot. My father wasn't really around, even though he did live with us, but he wasn't really around. So my mother had to do a lot of things on her own. She had to learn how to do a lot of things on her own. And even in her old age, my brother and I, we're still trying to get her to stop doing stuff around the house. Like there are things that she doesn't need to do, but she just gets up and doing them just because. So I realized I developed that kind of work ethic about trying to figure things out on my own and do things, being independent. You know, Beyonce, oh, the women who are independent. Yeah, that's me. Like I like to get stuff done. Even to this day, I still struggle with like asking my husband to do something and then 5 minutes later it's not done. I say, you know what? Let me go do it myself. Like I'm that girl. And so I realized that about myself. And I realized it was showing up in my business where I had all these important tasks that I need to get done. But because I don't have the time to do it, the list keeps getting longer and I don't want to ask for help. So I had to just see that showing up in my business and just put my foot down for myself and say, Julia, you need to get help. And it was difficult for me. It was a real difficult process to hand over certain tasks. I mean, I don't have a full-time VA, but I have somebody who helps me every now and again with different tasks. Like when things get too overwhelming for me, when I have too many things that I cannot handle in the moment, I would call up my VA and I say, do this task for me. And it was difficult because there were certain things that she didn't know how to do. And I had to teach her how to do them. There were certain things that she knew how to do, but she didn't know how to do it the way I wanted it to be done. So I had to teach her to do that. And then there are certain things that she just needed extra help with just to understand certain principles. And it was frustrating to me. I mean, I've never said this to her, but this is not something for her. It is more on me. It kind of frustrated me every now and again to be saying things over and over because in my mind I'm thinking, but I can do this myself. Julia, why don't you do it yourself? And I had to rein in and say to myself, Julia, you cannot do all of this yourself. That is why you have this person to help you. So I kind of taught my way out of getting frustrated when I have to explain certain things to her, because I realized that in doing that, I'm ultimately helping myself. Because eventually, once I explain it to her and she gets it, then she becomes more competent in executing that task. And I can now feel a lot more comfortable in letting go and releasing certain responsibilities to her, and I can focus on other things. So this might not be applicable to everybody, but it is something that I have struggled with, and I can tell you I'm still struggling with it. I still don't know how to ask for help. It might take me a good minute to really realize that about myself even today. Like there might be things that I need help with and I'm trying to figure it out. And it might take me a while to say, Julia, just ask for help. Like, just ask for help. And what I have found that in asking for help, you don't necessarily have to pay people to get help, you know. Like I have a VA that I pay to do certain tasks for me, but you literally don't have to, because you can barter. And some people are literally willing to just help you out for free. They're helping you out just because. So you don't always have to pay. And this has transformed the way I execute things in my business over the past, let's say, a year, a few months to a year, because I'm really just getting a grip on this since this year. And it really has transformed the way how I approach productivity, because it's easier for me now, even though it's a working process, it's progress. It's easier for me now when I realize that my workload is getting a little bit too much to just ask for help. And the first person I'll call on is my VA and say, can you take on this task for me? Right? But that was a process for me. And because I'm able to now realize it about myself and release it, then I'm able to be much, 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 much more productive. And what that has done for me is that there are certain things that I used to do in my business that I don't do anymore. So, for example, just a few days ago, someone messaged me asking me if, the prices for my website services are the same, yada, yada, yada. Basically, they were interested in creating a website and they wanted me to do it for them. Because earlier in the year, we had a discussion about me building websites for different businesses and so on. But I've decided to kind of tone down on those website services to focus more on online courses. So because my focus is solely on online courses, I kind of just put the website services to the side. And so what has happened now, because that person was now inquiring about that service and I realized that I'm not able to take that on right now, I was easily able to refer my VA to them and say, this is the person who has been helping me to build websites for other people over the past year. You can go to her, because here's the thing. I have trained my VA to the point where, like, when she just started working with me, she didn't know how to build a website. It was really chaotic for her and she was trying to figure things out. And I've helped her to be confidently know to the point where she's confidently building websites for other people. And I have no hang-ups in referring clients to her. I'm losing the money, but I'm completely okay. Why? Because I'm not interested in building any websites right now. And because I'm confident in her skills, because I taught her, then I know she can do it. So I'm recommending her to clients who are coming to me asking me about websites, among other things. So there are things that are coming to me, clients that want me to do stuff for them that I know I cannot handle right now. So I can easily send that job or that project to her and she can earn her money there, right? And that's one of the things about building kingdom wealth. You don't keep all the wealth to yourself. Anybody who has been on a breakthrough strategy session with me knows that I recommend them to other people all the time. Up to today, I was on a session with a young lady who wanted to build out a particular business. And I said to her, listen, I can help you, but I know somebody who can help you better. And I told her, I gave her a few strategies and I said to her, go and connect with that person, because that person is much, much better able to help you than I will. I have zero problems doing that, because that is how you build kingdom wealth and you empower and help each other. So asking for help, that's one of the big, big, big things I was able to overcome this year. And it has made a big difference in my productivity. Even if I have to pay for that help, I'll gladly pay for it, because I know the money is going to come back to me in focusing my energies on the thing that I really want to do, or the project that I really want to be zoning in on right now. Now, the other thing is focus. So we're going to segue into focus. So the first one was asking for help. The second tip is focus. Hi, Shakiria. Thanks for showing up again in the comments. Y'all know I love to see those messages coming in. Doesn't matter how short the message is, one word, one syllable. Engage in the comments. It keeps me alive. All right. So my second tip or lesson for this year is focus. So in asking for help and kind of outsourcing tasks that were not less important, but in order for me to focus on what I really want to do, I asked for help and I outsourced those other tasks. And then I'm now able to focus on the thing that is really most important to me. And this is where the focus comes in. And this is what I teach as part of my mentorship as well. When you're just starting out in business, please, please, please Don't try and sell here, build websites, sell phone, and watch people car at the same time. Right? Those are three completely different niches that are completely unrelated to each other. Right? Completely unrelated. And so what you find if you're selling here, selling phones, selling washing cars, selling computers, building websites, you're gonna find that you are stretching yourself 4 or 5 different ways. And so you're stretching yourself so thin that you cannot focus as much of your energy on each of the projects that you want. So this is what I teach. Pick one thing and pursue it. Pick one thing and pursue it. So instead of stretching yourself 5 different ways, you're stretching yourself in one direction, focusing on one niche, and you're giving that one single niche your 100%. Right? The worst thing that could happen is that business fail. And if it fails, you would have known that you would have given it your very best and things didn't work out. Right? But if you gave it 20% and things didn't work out, I don't think that's a good feeling to have. You want to know that even if you fail at this thing, you would have given it your very, very best. And then you move on to whatever else you want to pursue. Right? I've been an entrepreneur for as long as I can remember. I was selling computers back in the day, coconut jewelry back in the day, banana from the banana factory back in the day. Like there's so many things that I've done as an entrepreneur, but each time we're focusing on one thing. So like on my way to work, when I used to work in corporate, the banana factory was literally 2 doors down, right? And so like twice a week, I would stop at the banana factory on my way to work, buy a box of bananas, bring it into the office, sell it to my coworkers for breakfast. And I did that for quite a while, right? Another time I was buying computers. My husband and I were buying and selling computers and electronics on eBay, reselling them for a profit, right? Another time our focus was on coconut jewelry. So I've been doing a lot of things as an entrepreneur to bring me to this point. But each time there was a specific focus. So it gives you an opportunity to exert all of your energy into this one thing. And so when you start working on this one thing, everything that is related to your current niche is going to be intertwined and interconnected. So you're not trying to build an Instagram page for your hair business and build another Instagram page for your website business. No, if you're focusing on websites, you're going to dissect websites into 500 different ways. And so your work becomes easier. Your productivity becomes easier. And so for me, I chose not to focus as much on digital literacy anymore, because I'm pretty good at digital literacy and teaching individuals how to really effectively use the internet and the different platforms as a learning tool. And I started out that way. Like I did lots of workshops on that when I just started as boss teacher. But I since crossed that off the list. I know how to build websites from start to finish. This year, I crossed that off the list as well. It's not like I can't do it. I just decided that it's going to be more effective for me to just focus on online courses and share as much value and content with my audience that's going to help my audience to build out their online courses as much as possible. And when I zoned in on online courses, that's when I started to meet my money goal. Like I was struggling is probably not the word, but I was fluctuating in terms of my income many, many months before. And my goal was always to make 1K from what I was doing. And it was just going up and down. I would get close to it and not reach there. I'll be up and down for months and months and months. And the moment I started to zone in on just focusing on online courses, I hit that goal in no time. And I'm consistently hitting that goal. I'm to the point at the end of the year where that goal has been crushed. It's like gone through the gate long time. And I've set new goals for next year. So on my board, and if you missed the planning session, you missed an awesome session when we did our 2021 planning session a few, 2 Saturdays ago? Last week Saturday, Jesus, yeah. It's just been 1 week, right? So I've set new income goals for 2021 simply because I see how focusing on that one particular niche has skyrocketed my business. And so if something working, don't fix what is not broken. If it is working, continue to do it. So that's what I am doing. So in 2021, my aim is to continue to focus and really zone in and refine how I deliver content around online courses. And I've set my income goals. I have two income goals actually, one for April and one for December. And so I set my income goals around that and in sharing valuable content to the community around how to build online courses. So having that focus is going to also boost your productivity in your niche. So you're now giving your 100% to this one thing, giving it your best, adding value to your audience, and in turn seeing the results, not just in you and your business, but also in your clients and your students. All right. So I see some comments coming in. Shakira is saying, focusing on one thing. I almost went crazy in 2019. I jumped on social media, spreading word on all I can do, then realizing I didn't want to wake up daily doing all those things. Yep. Because here's the thing. You are so skilled in so many things. Like I can think of so many things that I know I can do, and I can do them well, and I can perform at the highest level doing those things. But you can't do all of them all day, every day. You will burn out, right? You will get tired very easily. You will get frustrated, and you are going to get overwhelmed, right? And so it became super, when I saw that, it became so easy for me to stop doing websites for people. It became so easy for me to turn down engagements that people were asking me in like at the height of the quarantine. People wanted me to come to their schools to have workshops with their teachers on digital literacy. It's not that I couldn't do it, but hello, this is going to pull me away from my focus of online courses. And my course about students at the time would not have gotten the best of me. And I cannot be shortchanging them at the expense of just getting an extra dollar from a workshop here or there, right? So I chose not to take those speaking engagements because I wanted to ensure that the focus that I have, which is online courses, my students in the program at the time were getting the best of me. So I give them the greatest value so that they can go out and build their courses, see the results in their business, and execute accordingly, right? So don't be afraid to turn down money. It might sound weird. It might sound weird. And sometimes you're going to be looking at yourself and saying, what in the world did I just do? Do you mean that I just turned down this $100,000 project? Did I really do that? Yes. It's going to benefit your brand, your business, and the best thing that you will ever see come out of that is maintaining your sanity. Like $100,000 cannot buy the sanity that I will get from not doing that project. Because you're going to be losing time, you're going to be losing effort, you're going to be shortchanging your other clients. And so my recommendation is pick one thing and pursue it, focus on one niche, and give it all you've got. When I niched down, another comment I'm reading, when I niched down, I was in a happy place and I started to make money. Ta-da! Is that what I just said? Exactly what I just said. Yeah. Thank you, Auntie Carly. What you doing online? Hey, Auntie. Love you. Yeah, so yeah. It's you're gonna make more money when you zone in and when you niche down. You will. So it's okay to turn on those projects, even though the check might look big, because they are literally just distractors. They are distractors from your purpose. They are distractors from your goal, and you're gonna make more money, even though it might not seem that way. But you're gonna make more money zoning in on what you really want to do, rather than taking that big check, that one-time big check. Believe me. Shakira saying, when people knew who I was and what I was offering, they were no longer confused. Yeah, that's what I teach. I have a program that I'm doing now called the Boss Teacher Mentorship, where I'm helping a few ladies to build out their business online. And one of the modules, we talk about your messaging. And we dig deep into what your messaging is, how you can craft your messaging so your audience understand exactly what you do, who you are, sorry, who you serve, how you serve them, and how your service can transform their lives. That's your messaging. And we dig deep into exactly what that is. And so when your messaging is clear, your audience knows exactly what you do. They know exactly what they need to come to you for. They know exactly what they do not need to come to you for. So you weed out the people who are not really interested in what you have to offer. And that's okay, because you cannot serve everybody. So focus is one of those lessons that I really started to implement this year, and I've seen what it has done for my business. Imagine moving from 1K months to 1K days just by focusing. That's where I am in business right now. All right. All right. So what's my next lesson? I have a list, guys. I have 4 things here. The third one is there's a biblical phrase that I want to use for it. Wise counsel. Yeah, I remember Sally Ann brought it up in one of our interviews. So the Bible talks about wise counsel, and the secular term for that is basically mentorship or coaching, right? So when it comes on to getting wise counsel, I have a really crazy story around that, because I used to think that I should find a very popular, a very publicly successful business person. I need to have their number on speed dial. I need to have them on WhatsApp. I should be able to message them at any time, any day, ask them a question, and they help me with my business. That was my initial concept of mentorship. And I had a real, this shift has been long coming, because I've seen how my mindset around mentorship has changed over the years. But this year, I really took a serious look at how I get mentorship, and I approach it from a very practical standpoint. So having a mentor doesn't mean that you know the most popular person in business with a chain of stores or restaurants, or the person who is on TV all the time and you have them on speed dial. It doesn't mean that. It means that there is somebody out there that is doing what you want to do, and you realize that they're at least 10 steps ahead of you, and you connect with them and you learn from them. How you connect with them varies. You can connect with them through their books. So if they are a published author, buy their books and read them. And not just read them, implement the strategies that they have shared in the books. If they have a podcast, subscribe to the podcast and listen to every episode. If they have a YouTube channel, turn on your notifications. In the same way that I want you to turn on your notifications for my channel, turn on your notifications for their channel. And when you have the time, go through their YouTube content, listen to what they have to say, and implement whatever strategies they are sharing. If they have a paid program, buy it. Invest in their paid coaching program. Listen, I've invested in 2 paid coaching programs this year. One of them broke me. When I say broke, I mean after I paid for that coaching program, I had $0 left in my account. But can I tell you that $0 that was left in my account in a matter of 2 months went right back up again. So I took all of my money, every single dollar that I had in my business at the time, and I invested it into this coaching program. And that coaching program transformed my business. Transformed. So when I talk about wise counsel, find somebody who has done what you want to do and learn from them. If you have to pay for it, pay for it. Lock your eye and pay for it. If you have to save to pay for it, do that. I've heard of people coming up with creative ways, like they've gone on, what's the crowdfunding platform again? GoFundMe. They've created GoFundMe accounts to pay for programs that they wanted to be a part of. That's hilarious. But I mean, there are creative ways that you can come up with ways to invest in a coach. Here's the thing. Watching the free YouTube video, listening to the free podcast, or reading their blogs, or following them on social media is all good and well. But inside of a paid program, you get way more customized and structured coaching, from your mentors and your coaches. Way more structured than what you will get for free. And that's why it is important for you to invest in a paid mentorship or coaching program. Because the results that you will get in 1 year from listening to podcasts, watching YouTube videos, or signing up for their email, you can literally get those same results in 2 months or 2 weeks or a month by investing in their paid coaching program. For me, the first coaching program that broke my bank, I saw results in 2 months. In 2 months, after I paid for that program, my bank account was zero. But in 2 months, I was up again. Right? The second coaching program I invested in later in the year, that is the coaching program that took me to my 1K days. Right? I was almost broke after I paid for that coaching program. Like, I'm always doing these things. But then you see the benefit afterwards. You see the benefits afterwards. So do not be afraid in investing in coaching. Right? And I have this mentorship program that I am teaching now that, like, literally everything that I learned in the past 2 years, I am teaching it to them in a 12-week program. So we've been at this since October. We are at week 7, and the coaching program ends in January. So what I learned in 2 years, I am teaching it to a group of ladies in 3 months. And that is what coaching does. You invest in a program, whatever you are investing in, it is literally going to cut your earning curve and your learning curve by a huge, huge percentage. So don't take it for granted. I know a lot of people shy away from investing in coaches because they think it's too expensive. The rewards are also expensive. And it is good expensive. I don't know if I'm using the right word when I say that, but I think you understand what I mean. Whatever you invest in, if you really are taking the lessons from your coach and your mentor, and you really are implementing it, you are going to see the results. And the results are going to be the income, the return on your investment should far exceed what you invested in the program. It should far exceed. And all you need to do is implement. Just listen to what I'm saying and do it. That's all. That's all you need to do. So it cuts down your learning curve and it increases your earning potential in a shorter possible time. So that's what coaching did for me. And I have plans for next year because I'm looking out for us. And now, because I am a lot more focused, I already know what I want to invest in for next year for coaching. Like, I'm already on the lookout for a specific type of coach because there's a specific type of content that I want to learn and be able to do for myself. And so I'm looking out for a coach. And that's one of my 2021 goals, right? So investing in wise counseling, investing in coaching, investing in mentorship, that's going to give your business a major, major boost. So that's number 3. So the final thing I have here on my paper is what is going to boost your productivity. No, one of the phrases that I was using a lot in the latter part of this year is work less and earn more. Because I realized I was doing a lot in my business. Yes, I was being productive, but I needed to figure out a way how I could get the same amount of work done, but with less effort and still make the same amount or more money. And so I was on a journey. Work less, earn more. Work less, earn more. That's what I've been doing. And so I had to figure out, how can I now boost my productivity? And that's the reason why I invested in the second coaching that I did for this year, because I saw where this coach was going to help me to it's essentially work less and earn more. And it did happen. So in terms of boosting my productivity, one of the things I did was I hired a coach. I hired a coach to teach me how to automate certain things in my business, so I didn't have to be doing those things manually all the time. So in the past, maybe 3 or 4 months, I automated a lot of things in my business. And so like on a weekly basis, I don't need to be adding these things to my tasks list anymore, because I spent some time and automated them, and I literally just walked away from it. So there are things that are running like a well-oiled machine in my business that I haven't touched in 3 months. They just keep going and going, and they're producing results. I'm making money from those systems, and I haven't touched them in 3 months, right? So that was one of the things that boosted my productivity. So I'm able to get more sleep. Like I love sleep, like bad. I love sleep. And I realized I wasn't getting enough sleep, and I went through a whole thing this year where I had to really retrain my body to sleep. And so I realized one of the things that I needed to do was to work less so I can get more sleep. I wasn't getting my 8 hours. I wasn't even getting 7, 6, or maybe sometimes I was getting 3, 4 hours of sleep per night. And so I wanted to improve that. So my mission for working less was not just about money, it was also about my health. So that was one of the things that I did to boost my productivity. I got a coach to teach me how to automate things. Another thing I did was I was very, very serious about accountability. So last week I talked about the upgrading my circle, like the people that I know have around me that are motivating me and encourage me. Awesome. And then I have Sherian. If you've never heard me talk about Sherian before, get used to that name. Because Sherian is my accountability partner. Now, Sherian and I have known each other for years. We've been in network marketing together. We've done so many things together. And Sherian is just a girl that I met on Facebook one day. I don't even remember how we met. I just know it was on Facebook. And we just kind of clicked, and we've been friends ever since. And so Sherian and I are on a similar path. Like we have 2 different businesses. I am boss teacher. She is a full-time nurse that is building out her side hustle, helping other nurses to migrate overseas. And so we have, even though our businesses are different, we have the same business model. And so whatever Sherian learns, she shares with me. Whatever I'm learning, I share with Sherian, and we keep each other accountable every single week. For the past couple of weeks, we kind of drop off a form. Like we didn't meet last week, and but our meeting days are every Friday. We meet for a minimum 1 hour. She shares with me her goals for the week. I share with her my goals for the coming week, and we keep each other accountable. So even though we didn't meet last week, we kind of still check up with each other on WhatsApp and to see, okay, how are things coming on? What's going on right now? Where are you? And so that in itself has improved my productivity to another level. Because remember, I tell you, I love sleep. Sometimes if it's not for Sherian, I'll probably sleep through some of my goals. It sounds funny, but it's true. Like I cannot get up and knowing that I had this meeting with Sherian and say, Sherry, this is what I plan to do next week. I cannot go to Sherian at the end of next week and say, I did sleep through this, I never bothered doing it. I didn't bother to get this done. I can't do that because she's holding me accountable, and I'm doing the same thing for her. So having that kind of accountability has really done a lot for my business. And that's just because I know who I am. I know the kind of person I am and what gets me going. So I know the value of having Sherian in my life. Right? So if you are that person who needs that accountability, then you might want to find your Sherian as well. I'm not sharing her, by the way, okay? I promise you I'm not sharing her. She's all mine. But having that accountability has really helped to boost my productivity. Another thing that boosts my productivity is finding my ideal work time. So I have found that I'm a morning person, and I discovered that this year. I'm a morning person. I had a schedule, and it took me a while to figure out this schedule, especially in quarantine, where I would get up at 3. Let's rewind a little bit. Before quarantine, I would send my kids off to school, and I'd be knee deep in work from 8 in the morning until, let's say, 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd shut down and I jump back into mom mode. And I'm with my family for the rest of the day until the next morning again. So I've always been working mornings, mid-mornings for the longest while. And then quarantine hit and that kind of threw me off. And it took me a few months, maybe about 3 months, to find that rhythm again. And in finding that rhythm, I realized that getting up before the crack of dawn, I used to get up at 3 a.m. and work from 3 to 6. Like, I get so much done within that 3-hour period. It's not funny. Like, I have so much focus. I zone in. There's no distraction. Everywhere is quiet. And the mood is just right. That I was able to do so much in that 3-hour slot. So I realized that I'm a morning person. So are you a morning person? Are you an evening person? Are you a night person? When is the best time for you to work? You might have to experiment around the day to figure out that for you and decide when is the best time for you to work and work at that time, because you'll find that you are going to be most productive during that period. The other thing I did to boost my productivity was to have a space to work. No, I cannot work in an untidy room. I can't work. And it was hard for me. When I say untidy, like with too much stuff, it was hard for me to focus. Like when I had my desk and my chair inside of my bedroom, which is what I've been doing since day one, it was good. But I couldn't sit here and work with a bed that was not spread. If the dresser was untidy, I have to get up and fix it. If the curtain looked away, I have to kind of like, I don't know if I'm paranoid, but that's just me. Everything has to be orderly and in place for me to really zone in. So I had way too much distractions in my bedroom. Sometimes the kids would come in and the mat would not, they would move the mat out of the plate. And I have to get up and fix the mat before I can really focus on what I'm doing. So I find that there were so many distractions. If there was a scratch on the wall, I'm thinking about it too often. I think I'm paranoid with being organized and neat. And so we had this extra room in the house that wasn't being used. We weren't sure of what plans we had for it. And I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go over there. Like, we had planned to rent it out, but it just hasn't happened yet. And I just decided that I would take this room over for my office. And coming into this office, a clean space, zero distractions, has done so much for my focus and my productivity. Like, I walk into the room and all I have is my desk. Everything on my desk is organized. And it just gives my mind another level of clarity that I can work. So that has helped to boost my productivity as well. So if you're like me, like, not everybody will relate to this, but if you have that kind of personality where you know that everything around you has to be organized and neat and well put together in order for you to stay focused, then you're gonna have to carve out that space for yourself. Right now, my husband decided that he's going to join me in this room. Like, he had his own little space, but all of a sudden I have a room with AC he wants to come to. So he has joined me in the room and he's not as organized as I am. So literally every day I walk in here, I organize his desk before I start working. Because if I'm sitting around my computer and I look over there and something is out of place, it drives me crazy. So I literally have to organize his desk every day and make sure things are in order before I start to work, because that is how my mind works. So find what works best for you. All right, so let me know. I'm gonna do a quick run through, but this is where I'm stopping for tonight. Were these tips helpful for you? I'm typing this in the comments, and if you're watching the replay, you can always share your feedback in the comment section as well. So let's do a quick run through while I just wait for your responses in the chat. So the first one, let me start from last week. So I did 8 lessons in all. Last week, the last session we did, I covered 4, and today I covered another 4. So the one I started out with last week was having a plan, like really structuring your life, structuring your business. And I shared with you the tool that I use to create my plan. This is my life and my business planner. And this is how I've been running my business. This is how I'm able to stay organized and focused. This is a new one that I printed. This is the same version of it, but a little bit more used because that's the wrong thing. Sorry, that was my son's spelling book. So this is what I've been using for 2020. Right, as you can see, it is very used, and we're at December now. And so I've already started out. I printed this out for January for next year again. So every month I print a new sheet. I'm probably gonna print out the entire 12 months for this year soon. But you can print them out month by month. This is available on the bossteacheracademy.com. And for those of you who are on our planning session, you just know. As so many of you snatched up the planner. It's available for you there. So we talked about having a plan for your business and your life, not just your business. We looked at the 10 key areas and how you have a comprehensive plan for your life. And that planner also includes that. We talked about having a plan B. What if you have a plan and something goes wrong? Like, we all had a plan up until March when quarantine hits. What is going to be your plan B to still accomplish those same goals that you set? I talked about upgrading your circle and how having a new set of people with the same mindset, the same kinds of goals has helped to really boost my lifestyle practices and my business. And I talked about the mindset shift that I had to have as it relates to wealth and approaching my business. And then tonight for this session, the 4 tips I talked about was asking for help, how I really had to learn how to ask for help, how I really had to zone in and niche down and focus on a specific type of business, how having coaching, mentorship, aka wise counsel, has really transformed my life, and how some of the tips, some of the strategies that I have implemented to boost my productivity so that I not only stay profitable in business, but I stay healthy holistically. All right, so let me know in the comments, were these tips helpful for you? And I want to know that you are taking away something from this and you're going to be able to implement these things in your life to see the kinds of transformations for yourself, the way that I was able to see for mine. So those are the tips that I have to share with you. Trust me, there are a few more, but this is where I'm going to stop. This is my last live for 2020. I'm going to be taking a 3-week break, and I'll be back on January 4, and I'm going full speed ahead with content that is related to online courses. So if that is what you're interested in, stick around. We're going to be having a ton of guests coming on to share amazing value as it relates to online courses. So right now you want to just click subscribe to this YouTube channel. You want to turn on your notifications and select all so that whenever I go live, whenever I post content on this channel, you will be able to access it, because my entire focus for next year is going to be about online courses. So the focus is being refined and is going to be more specific for the new year. All right, so it was a pleasure sharing with you for the past few months. I enjoy doing these sessions, believe me, I do. But I think the break is necessary to kind of just regroup. Like, I've done my planning already. So right now, my aim is to just organize myself. I'm going to automate a lot of things. So when I hit January morning, content is going to be going out, and I'm going to be sleeping while content is going out. I'm going to be eating somewhere on a beach while content is going out. And that's one of the things that I was able to get coaching on, and just to be able to effectively implement those strategies in my business. So the next 3 weeks is going to just be implementing, creating new content, and scheduling things out for the next couple of months, and just watching that system work and bringing income for my business. All right, guys, no questions? Any questions, any comments? Were the tips that I shared helpful for you? And what are some of the things that you're going to be implementing moving forward so that you can improve your business and your life? All right? Sorry, oh my gosh. Sorry, guys, I just burped. That's what happens on live TV. You get it as it goes. Oh my goodness. All right, Donna, you are so very welcome. Janice is saying, I joined late, but what I caught was helpful. You are welcome, Janice. You're welcome. You're welcome. The replay is going to be there, so you can always watch that as well. All right. I mean, it's always good serving. It's always good sharing. It's all like, as a teacher, this is what drives me, sharing and just giving value, right? Tips were good. So next course will be in January. Was that a question or a comment? Are you creating a course, Donna? Are you creating a course? Or you're asking me about one of my courses? I'm not sure. Oh, wait a minute. I think I missed a comment from Donna. When will be your next course? Okay, which course are you interested in? That's my question to you. Because I'm turning right. I think it might be left for you, but I'm turning this way because I have my plan on my whiteboard. This is my 2021 plan. Well written out. See, my whiteboard is full. So it depends on which course you're asking about, because I'm teaching one now live. And this course ends in January. After we finish in January, I'm going to be automating that course, so I don't have to teach it live again. But one of the things that I have been doing that I have found to be working well in my trainings is that I've been offering live coaching sessions that come standard with every course that I teach. So right now I have 2 courses running, the online business mentorship and the Course Vault program, where persons learn how to build out their online courses. And both of those come with mentorship, like it's standard. And everything that I do moving forward, like every training, long-term training that I offer is going to have a coaching component, because what I've found is that it is helpful for my students. Like I see the benefit of having that coaching program as part of whatever course that I'm doing at the time. So that's something that's going to be standard. And if I'm selling an ebook, if I'm selling just a one-time offer, anything, I'm going to be having a workshop that has a Q&A component attached to it as well. So that's kind of like the coaching. So if I'm selling an ebook, it's not just going to be an ebook. It's going to be a workshop plus an ebook, and that workshop is going to include a Q&A segment just to answer, get any questions, give further clarity on anything that is on the minds of people who are interested in buying the program or the ebook. And then I'm going to be adding that workshop as a replay, so anybody who purchases it in the future still gets the value of the workshop plus the ebook. All right, so okay, so that's one program. So the Course Vault program is running right now. So anybody who's interested in building your online courses, you can go to joincoursevault.com and you can get access to that, or just visit Boss Teacher Academy. That is where all of my programs live. The bossteacheracademy.com, all of my programs live there. So I'm gonna put that bossteacheracademy.com. All of my programs live on this platform. So any questions you have about anything that I'm selling, this is where they all are. All right. Thank you so much. These sessions have motivated me and add value to my life, both business and personal. I wish you success in all the endeavors for 2021. Thank you so much, Colette. Thank you very much. As a teacher, that does something for me. Like, you always want to know that you're sharing value, and it's not just, you're not just sharing content, but it's transforming people's lives. So life and business transformation, that's what I'm all about, y'all. So you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome, Colette. All right, so Donna, if you're interested in any of the courses, the information about each of them is available on my course platform at bossteacheracademy.com. I've placed that in the live chat, and it's also going to be in the replay for anyone who is interested. All right. So when is my next course? One is still recurring, like the Course Vault program is still recurring. Like you can buy that anytime. I'm actually revamping it. So I have that up on my board. It's going to be revamped. I'm going to add some new bonuses to that. I'm going to have some new workshops that I'm going to add to it as well. And so I'm building those out. And that's why I'm taking a few break, because I have a couple of things that I need to get done to launch in January. And so yeah, but you can still buy it. If you're a part of the Course Vault program right now, you will have access to the upgraded version. So if you buy it now, you're not going to be missing out anything if you wait until by not waiting until January, because they're going to be eventually added to the current program. And then the mentorship, I'm not taking students for the online business mentorship right now. I'm just taking my students through the process this moment. And then I'll decide if I'll open up back in February. But even if I don't, the content is still going to be there. The only difference is I'm not going to be teaching it live. So I'm doing it live right now. We have classes every Monday night. We have coaching sessions every Thursday. But I won't be teaching it live at all. So that would be the only difference. But go to bossteacheracademy.com and you'll get all of that information. All right, so that's, any more questions? Any more questions before I log out tonight? Can you believe it? I said I was going to make it short and I still end up here for an hour. But like, it happens every single time. I need to stop saying I'm going to be here for 30 minutes. I need to stop saying that, because it just never happens. It just never happens. All right, so that's it for tonight, guys. I'll see you on January 4 for our first Boss Teacher Live of 2021. And this is all about online courses for the next year. So I'm looking forward to share all of that value, all of that content with you. And I'll have a happy Christmas, have a happy New Year, have a productive rest of the year. And I wish you all the best in your businesses. I wish you all the best in the 10 key areas of your life. I wish you success, prosperity, sanity, peace, love, good friends, and enough sleep. All right? So see you guys